Here we have 5 dogs fighting for grabs for this one treat, and Joey is outnumbered by 4 girl dogs. So you're probably wondering what the dogs had to do with the speech I'm about to give. Well, it's to show that Hollywood hates women. Well, not all of Hollywood, about half of Hollywood. 42% of the movies can't even have 2 women having a conversation in them. And still, what does this have to do with the dogs? Well, the dog situation would have failed a reverse Bechdel test since there was only 1 boy dog and 4 girl dogs. But today we're going to be talking about the Bechdel test. The Bechdel test is a test put on film to see women's representation in the product. It's a simple enough test. This test has 3 rules. The first rule is that there's 2 women characters. The second rule is that these 2 women characters have a conversation with each other. And the third and final rule is that the conversation is about anything other than a man. Simple enough, right? Many movies fail this test. Applying this rule to films you watch helps to see if the writers can write a well-rounded female character. So let's get into it. We are going to begin with the first rule. Can a movie have 2 female characters? These 2 characters have to have names, and they can't be in the background, blurred out, or in there for a split second. They have to be real people. Seems simple enough, but movies still fail this part. One movie is Dunkirk. Now, of course, this is a military movie where it was mostly men that enlisted, so it is understandable, but there was a nurse. She did not have a name, and there was also another nurse with her, but they never talked. And the other nurse was blurred out in the background. Of course, there's some movies where it makes sense, like Shawshank Redemption, because it's a male prison unit, and there's not going to be many women in a male prison unit. But it's interesting to note that a movie Buried with Ryan Reynolds, where it's only 1 man in a box alone, manages to pass the test when he's on the phone with women. Interesting, and leaves little excuses for other movies. The second rule that we're going to discuss is that we have 2 female characters, right? Will they talk to each other? Many movies still fall short because they have their token female character, but she never talks to any other woman in the film. Movies like Free Guy, Lord of the Rings, all of them. Toy Story, all of them. And almost every old superhero movie. In recent years, they've gotten a lot better, but older superhero movies, they failed. The movie I want to talk about in particular, Avengers. Now, you may be thinking, but there's Black Widow. She has to talk to other women. Nope. She never talks to another woman in the film. And there's a lot of women in this film, but they never talk to each other. Apparently, she's in a man's world, and it's hard to find another woman to talk to about it. For a blockbuster movie that prides itself on having one of the first female superheroes in a movie, they could have had her talk to another woman. Women still exist even if New York is getting attacked by aliens. The third rule of the Bechdel test is that these 2 women talk about something other than a man. Seems simple enough, there's countless topics to talk about, yet many movies fall short. When a movie's centered around a man, it may be hard to talk about other subjects, but the conversation doesn't have to be anything serious. It can be about the weather, dogs, music, anything like that. No Time to Die, Marriage Story, Mother, Fifth Wave, a movie where there's a literal apocalypse happening, they fail. As this rule often leads to many debates. Example, another movie that struggles is The Dark Knight. The debate with this movie is that Barbara Gordon, she does have a conversation with Detective Ramirez about safety, but she's relaying a message at gunpoint from a man. So is it really a conversation if it's just another man's words? I think that this rule shouldn't be this hard to interpret for writers, but still struggles. It really shouldn't be that hard for writers to write a conversation about anything other than a man to make a more realistic world, but we still have issues. These rules may seem straightforward to most, and a lot of movies this year passed it, like one of my favorites, Batman. When the movie's literally about a bat, they still manage to talk about other things, the women characters. But many may say that this test is pushing a feminist agenda, but if it was the other way around, they would say it's pushing a feminist agenda that there's not enough men in the movie. So you're never going to win this scenario, but the next time you watch a movie, try out this test. You may be surprised.